my tardiness was doing a last-minute update to my NBA player rankings, which have now been submitted for all the premium users at awesemo.com to take a look at. It represents a complete player pool of who I would consider at this late time for GPP tournaments, as well as a ranking for each player in cash and in the aforementioned GPP. So, pretty compelling slate this evening, including a lot of games with some late news coming to bear. Again, only a 7-game slate, but obviously many of you are busy right now with the football. I hope you invested heavily on the Colts at this time. So let's go ahead and start talking about this slate right now. We have the the only actually 7 p.m. game, the Jazz visiting Detroit. No really relevant injury concerns that I'm aware of in this game at this time. So let's start. Obviously, the two sites have decided to price these two slates a little bit differently. More specifically, the DraftKings has given us even more than their normal discount, is making some of these guys playable. On both teams looking to play one of these guys on FanDuel, basically any single player in this game, you're trying to get a little bit creative here. I certainly don't think there's almost any of the guys you would normally think of, Blake or Drummond or Reggie Jackson, who if you ended up with in a tournament lineup would be completely out of play. But none of them would be recommended plays, especially with the news-breaking players sitting out, the excellent game environments we have later with Golden State and Sacramento. On DraftKings, it's a little more interesting. Looking first at the Jazz, Ricky Rubio makes a fair amount of sense as a mid-price play. I have him slightly below Elfrid Payton, who's at a very similar price point. So, I would probably rather run Elf in either format with him starting to get minutes again. Rubio not being 100%, and the Jazz also being on a back-to-back, whereas the Pelicans are unhindered by any such thing. So I would rather run Elfrid Payton looking at players in that price range. But Rubio not out of play, certainly if you want to run him in a tournament, but it's still a bargain price of $5,800 for a guy who can put up a 35, 40-point ceiling game given enough time. I guess at the top of the show, talk about back-to-backs for a little bit. As mentioned on yesterday's show, the Cavs, the Mavs, the Grizzlies, the Bucks, the Trailblazers, and the Jazz are playing today. Apparently there is a bit of an echo issue. Let me take a look at the chat. I have no idea why I would have a substantive echo here. Alright, I'm going to start it again over in a minute.